Happy Australia Day, everyone, and welcome to OPL Week 2, Day 2. I am, of course, Jake Spawn Tiberi. Joining me on the desk today is Wally, Blinky, Bryce, Adrian, Paul, Skippy, and Julian Pastry Time Kai. How you going today, guys?
Yeah, real good.
Pretty good. That's good. So, as we get into it, let's have a look at this week's schedule, just to remind you guys of the games going on yesterday. Sin was able to 2-0 Infernum in what was pretty emphatic fashion, and looking forward to tomorrow night's doubleheader. Hellions are going to be Sin beat Trident. Hellions are going to be taking on Infernum, and of course our OPL Legend match will round us out the week. Chiefs taking on the Direwolves. That should be an absolute cracker. And are you looking forward to that one, Bryce? Of course, Direwolves been around in a rival for a couple of splits now.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to it. A lot stronger team than Trident, I think, so should be a good challenge tomorrow.
What are your thoughts on that matchup there, Pastry Time?
Yeah, always excited to see top teams play. Definitely the Chiefs. I think probably still seeming like the best team, obviously, given that they are defending the OPL Legend title. But Direwolves are strong, probably a top 3, top 4 team. Looking to challenge the Chiefs here.
Yeah, and that's what we have in store for these week's matchups, so they should be great. But before we get into tonight's matchup, next Tuesday, Legacy will be taking on the other team with the gaming house, the Hellions, and we were lucky enough to hear from their jungler, Carbon, and what his thoughts onto that matchup was. Check it out.
Yeah, I wasn't surprised necessarily when Hellions announced their house, especially so early, as I knew that that was something they were doing. Ryu was actually a player we spoke to when we were trying to fill our top lane vacancy after last season. So them having a house definitely puts a lot of pressure on us. You know, if we were the only team with a house and it didn't go very well, we could have just put it down to a failed experiment, but now we have something to compare ourselves to. So we'll definitely be watching them very closely this year. I mean, I was a bit disappointed, I suppose. You know, we were very excited to share that with everybody, and I think it's a really big step for us and the scene in general this year. So I wouldn't say I was bitter, but I was definitely disappointed that they beat us to it. Of course, every game is important, and especially against especially against Hellions, because they have the house. You know, they're in the same position as us, and now if we get 0-2, that would be really bad, because you know we're in the same position, but they're doing something that we're not. You know, and it will be a race to figure out what that is, and hopefully try and salvage the rest of the season. I don't like the idea that Ryu reckons he can just bring his Korean mates over to Australia and knock us all off. I'm not sure if that'll be as easy as he reckons, but it'll make it exciting at least.
It's always great to hear from Carbon. He always speaks with so much passion. Of course, that matchup, Legacy versus Hellions, will be next Tuesday at 6 p.m. local time, so make sure you tune in and check that one out. Ejim, you played with Carbon for a very long time. He would be very pumped to take on another team in a gaming house.
Yeah, I think there's a lot on the line in terms of like gaming house pride, you know, like if they don't win, then I think they'll be looking a bit sorry.
And, you know, after a bad first week, maybe Hellions will be looking to bounce back. Julian, you think they got it in them?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Bomb's a great player. Hellions are a team that have clearly invested a lot into making sure they really power up and get themselves in the best spot this season after, I guess, a bit of turmoil last year. They've definitely not off to a good start, unfortunately, whereas Legacy are looking quite strong. But if it's any match they really want to, you know, bring out the big guns, it's that one.
Yeah, it certainly is. But Legacy have a match before them. It is tonight, so let's get into that one. It will be Avant-Garde taking on Legacy. Take you through Avant's lineup first. They will be starting on the blue side. It is Malaz in the top lane, Chelby, their jungler, Rex still in the mid lane, and Destiny and Blind Turkey, their new bottom lane. This is a roster, you know, that was blown up and now has come back together. They had a great week 1 performance against the Hellions, but they're against a veteran lineup on the other side of the rift. It will be Legacy on blue side for game 1. Tally in the top lane, Carbon, their all-star jungler. Choo Choos is also an all-star in the mid lane, and your boy King, their AD carry, and Regret9 or Regret will be down there in the bottom lane. Of course, this will be Flying Dew or Regret's first game back after his suspension, so he will be looking to take to the rift, and that bottom lane, it's looking pretty good.
Yeah, Regret straight out of O's prison. So him and Claire will be looking to prove something. Oh, sorry, not Claire. Claire's back in O's prison. Him and King will be looking to prove something tonight. AV's bottom lane, I don't think will be the strongest. Destiny just roll swap, so I think Legacy have got it in the bottom lane there.
Yeah, I have to agree. I think Avant have shown a lot about how much they've done to reinvigorate the team and rebuild it after, again, kind of dismantling part of it and rebuilding it here for this year. Destiny's been very vocal about his confidence in himself and the team's play, so they're going to have to really, you know, show up this match. And That bottom lane's very scary. Regret's an amazing player. It's good to see him back in the OPL. He will have to shake off some of those nerves and get back into competitive, but for a player this good, it's probably not too hard.
Yeah, and we'll continue the lane swap trend because, sure, Destiny's lane swap, but on Legacy's lineup, they've got Tally now in the top lane. Do you think that this is an area that maybe Avant can look to exploit?
Yeah, definitely. I think Malaz is a very good top laner. Plays some cheeky champions, got some niche picks up in there, so if he pulls one of them out, Legacy might be in for a bit of a treat. But I think Malaz overall, better than Taylorwacker, deeper champion pool, been playing top for longer, really good wave control, just a really solid player. So for AV to take a game off Legacy, I think it'll be from the top lane.
Yeah, and I know that you think, Pastry Time, that maybe it's the top side of the map that they have to look to exploit it. The whole Rect, a very new player, but will look to take it to Choo Choo.
Yeah, Rect is this really exciting solo queue player that a lot of pros have had plenty of praise for, but he's going to have to really show it up here against a veteran in Choo Choo. He's no slouch himself skill-wise, and he's got way more experience on the young gun. So I hope Rect can take it to him here because I'm definitely looking to their 2 solo lanes to try and carry them through.
And I feel that whenever we split a map like this, it goes down to the jungler, and Carbon had a terrific week 1, but Chelby's always been that presence. They've played against each other for a very long time. On the current patch, with the current meta, do you think that Chelby has a chance, or is this Carbon's game?
I think, Chelby definitely has a chance. He always has, moments of brilliance. He's a very aggressive player, but I think the meta suits Carbon more right now. Carbon likes the Graves. The 80 carry junglers coming into the meta, they're really strong. And I think overall, Legacy just have stronger lanes besides from the top. So Carbon's going to have a good game this game. Going to be able to pressure Chelby in the jungle.
Are you thinking something along the similar lines?
I mean, historically, it's just such a fun matchup to watch these two go at it. Carbon has said many times how much he loves fighting Chelby in the jungle, and they're very aggressive, very duelist-style junglers, I suppose. So I'm looking forward to see them clash. I do agree with Ejim that it could be tricky as far as overall lane power for Carbon to go to. Does open up the map a lot more for him, but like you said, Chelby has plenty of moments of brilliance. He's going to have to come up pretty big here with his two solo laners if he really wants to make it big.
And this kind of reminds me of a matchup, and I'm going to throw a history lesson out here. Unfortunately, you're on the team, Ejim, but we thought this was a very similar matchup to when Legacy were taking on Avant to take everything at Summer there. Avant lineup we hadn't really seen with Veritas and Nada coming in there. Shelby was out of play out of his mind, and it's because you guys like to fight a lot, and they were able to take it to you on that front. Is this a similar story now?
Yeah. I'm not sure if AV can play Kalista in the bottom lane, but Kalista, really good skirmish champion. If they can get Blind Turkey back on Thresh, he had some really good games last week on Thresh. Kalista, Thresh, really strong bottom lane, really heavy skirmish. Shelby will be able to fight. So I think, depending on, no matter what they pick, there's going to be some early fights this game, just based on the junglers.
Yeah, you can't afford to not be aggressive in this meta. That's probably the biggest thing overall. You mentioned aggressive junglers. We've talked about how good a lot of the solo laners are. And bottom lane is sort of just doing its thing right now. You mentioned Kalista. We've seen a lot of Trist as well. So a bit more utility coming from that section of the map. And that means that you're playing pretty hard and fast on the top half of the map. So these games are really quick. And Legacy, like you said, love to fight. So Avant definitely can't sit back. They have to actually take it to them in the lanes.
Yep. So we'll see whether that is something that they're able to do. Before we get into the game, guys, I really want to get your predictions on this one. Starting with you, Pastry Time, who wins this game and why?
I think Legacy 2-0, just because they're just a bit outclass Avant, I think, in a few too many areas. And their experience, more than anything else, brings them over, because Avant are definitely still working out some kinks.
Ejim?
Yep. I agree. 2-0 Legacy, I think. For the majority of their roster, they're just better players individually, and they've been a team together longer, and I think they're just a better team.
And I've been waiting to get a Chiefs member on the desk. Is Legacy the best team in the OPL at the moment?
Unfortunately not.
Chiefs are still better?
Yep.
All right, well, we don't get to see them play for a couple of weeks. We will go back over this a little bit more, though. I want to bring up the lane swap trend as a whole. I was speaking to you earlier, Ejim, and you said that a lot of players are lane swapping right now, and you don't necessarily agree with the philosophy behind it.
A lot of players are lane swapping. I think people just dodge bad matchups. We've got the Malphite special in OS, and a lot of people like playing that. So Malphite, very good on lane swap, so people tend to do that a lot, yeah.
I think that's just a product of, maybe not having enough picks in the right places. We've talked a lot in this matchup, and it's reflective of the meta that solo lanes are very important, and so is jungle. So if you don't have flexible solo laners, you can really struggle to get things done in draft. And if you're getting out drafted in this meta, you'd lose so quickly.
Yeah, I think that's actually the biggest thing. Teams don't have the deepest champion pools, especially as you go down the OPL to the lower tier teams. I think teams struggle in draft phase, and then they have to lane swap themselves out of bad draft phases to have a chance to win a game.
So we'll see if that is something that happens. We mentioned Malaz. He's got this very deep champion pool. Tally, we know, likes to play the aggressive carries. Might get, I guess, caught up in that, but we'll see whether he's able to get it done right now. I'm once again looking through the how this will play out right now, and I'm thinking that, actually, no, we found out that the game is actually ready. So let's hand over to Rusty and Atlas to get us onto the Rift. Thank you very much, Spawn, and we're excited to invite you here to the Caster Desk. I'm, of course, Atlas. This is Rusty, and we're ready to get this game underway. As look, there's a lot of legacy sort of, I guess, support on the desk at the moment. Rusty, are you sharing that one?
Absolutely. There's a lot of support that has to be behind Legacy at the moment. Coming into this match, they've said to be potentially the second best team if we look at EGM at the moment, calling them, well, second to Chiefs, let's be fair. But coming into this match against Avant, there's so many things that we need to actually consider firstly before we even get into the drafting phase. One thing that was mentioned is that they suck at drafting across the board here by limitations and preferences of champions. So coming into this draft, and we've got a lot of bans already.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Everything coming through thick and fast so far, ladies and gentlemen. Kassadin, Graves, Ezreal, Tahm-Kench, Malphite. So many bans! Oh man, just it's ridiculous. We'll see exactly what Legacy's final ban is going to be as we are towards the end of this draft phase as far as the bans are concerned.
Why are we never seeing Poppy?
I just don't know.
I mean, it's just so good. It's the count. So yesterday we saw Sin basically very easily and cleanly take out their opponents with the Zac composition.
Yeah, that's true.
And Poppy is the direct counter to that. But one of the things that we just touched on before this draft, none of them can play Poppy, and they're limited essentially by their champion pools, as we're seeing over there.
Yes. Of course, the Cassiopeia, the special of Malaz, was mentioned there by EGM as well on the desk, so probably won't be locked in, but yeah, it's okay. It's okay. You'll be okay. No. So that's probably not going to get locked in there, Rusty. So we'll see exactly what AV want to take as their first pick. There are a few options still left on the board. Rek'Sai is a big one here for Avant. They played with 4 of the same champions in almost every game, but Gangplank! He was actually picked here as well, Rusty. We've seen him fall through maybe one draft competitively recently that I can remember.
Yep,
so,
definitely.
Yeah. Skipping the bans, and he'll be locked up straight away here by Avant.
Yeah, so Avant pick up the Gangplank, and honestly, what a strong champion to actually see in the draft for first pick. Surprised it's not banned, but target bans, sort of. A lot of strong champions banned, and hello, that's a good draft.
Yeah, and that's like 2 picks locked in straight away here as well. So the Lulu and the Lissandra, both of them flex picks. Not entirely sure which one's going to go where at the moment, Rusty, as well. So we'll see exactly who's going to be taking top, who's going to be taking that mid lane. Of course, Choo-Choo's played a devastating Lissandra.
Yeah, he definitely did. In fact, both of them did. So there was the mid laner Choo-Choo's played a great Lissandra. Tally played a great Lissandra in the second game. So strength to this team knowing it can be flexed. The other thing, though, is that they're not flexing them, essentially. It's like a double flex, but very obvious what they're going to be. Like control mages, right there. Like, right, I can't, up there somewhere.
Around, whatever. Yeah. Well, of course, Poppy has slipped through the draft there as well, Rusty, so that could be heading towards Blind Turkey in the bottom lane, or, of course, Malaz there in the top lane as well, as Destiny going back to a tried and true Lucian pick. Just that one there. Yep.
Yeah, of course. Destiny has only played Lucian so far in the OPL. 2 games on it. They've only played 2 games, to be fair, but he's going to stick with that one, and Destiny's Lucian was great. Like, honestly, lots of farm, knows how to get kills, all around. Surprised he actually got it.
Oh, it's got an itch. Oh, man. Okay, yeah, so it has been locked in. And they have changed up a little bit here, Rusty, as well. So they've got the Poppy and, of course, the Gangplank. So we are going to see some changes from Avant this time around. As King, I actually really like the slight hover of Thresh there. Just because taking it away from Blind Turkey, I think, would be so important. The guy just looked so damn impressive on that
Calm
champion.
down.
No, I'm sorry. I'm just excited, because I really enjoyed seeing Blind Turkey make his way into the OPL here for the first time, and see what Choo-Choo's decides to look at as we move forward in this draft.
The Thresh pick in particular that you mentioned, I completely agree with. Taking it away from Blind Turkey was a monster, and Regret also plays that champion. So I would like to see them pick that. There are a lot of other options available, though, as we're seeing, that are pretty good.
Yeah, exactly. And taking the Rek'Sai away from Chelby there as well is a really big deal. He had a fantastic series. Didn't actually die. I think he got about a 20 KDA or something like that in the 2 games that they played against the Hellions. So very good idea. We'll see what Avant decide to take onto the Rift to round out their roster, as Legacy still with some flexibility at the moment in that comp, as you know, you could just chuck the Lulu to Regret 9 in the bottom lane. Who knows?
I mean, yes, but not really ideal. They've already got their top and mid laner in place. They've got their jungler and their support. Looking for an AD carry to round out the composition is unusual. The Ezreal being banned away from King is something worth noting.
Yeah.
He's only played the Ezreal so far, and Lucian having been taken, the fact that they've last picked their AD raises some questions. They've got a lot more priorities in place than that of the AD carry. They needed that Trundle pick. They wanted the Rek'Sai pick in place, and honestly, I really like this Avant draft.
Yeah, Avant actually looking at the Zac here as well, and you were talking about the sort of OCE special there in the jungle. You actually think it's very, very strong at the moment.
Yeah.
They've locked it in, as well as Blind Turkey's Morgana by the looks of things. Potentially, could be going somewhere else as well. Actually, is that going to be wrecked on the Morgana? What?
It looks to be a top lane Morgana.
Top
If
lane.
well, we've seen top lane
Yep,
Morgana,
yep, yep, yep.
and GP can, well, he can do either. But
Flex
realistically, you have the GP mid, can safely farm, it's a short lane. Morgana's never going to die, especially into the control mages, which is what we're seeing over here.
Yeah, it's true. And now Legacy, it's time for them to really round out their team comp. We'll see what they decide to bring onto the Rift, ladies and gentlemen, for their last pick, as it is going to be the AD carry. Hey, what, is there something? Hang on.
No.
Okay, there's no point. It's like
Didn't
you don't even have
s-
anything in
didn't
your
say
ear.
anything.
Man, you are so hairy today. It's ridiculous. Okay, waiting for Legacy, though,
Shave.
to lock in their final pick. It's 5 seconds now on the clock. Regret 9, considering
Whoa,
it the
what?
Cogmore? What?
That's silly. That's really... okay, so they've got Lulu to buff the Cogmore. They've got Lissandra to buff to an extent, or to be in a front line for that Cogmore to keep her alive, and a Trundle who's very good for disengage. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of worse things for this team comp, but all in all, I mean, it's good. I don't know why they go for the Cogmore over something else like even a Tristana, though, that could just be buffed even further, still do the relevant damage, and it would also be a lot more physical damage opposed to this mix with magic, which that's a lot of magic damage over there. Like, what is that?
Yeah, that whole situation at the moment. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
a lot of magic damage, but it is a massive protect the Cogmore comp. And of course, when you've got a Lulu, you do have the opportunity to really protect that guy. And with a Lissandra there as well for the added peel, sort of gigantic amounts of peel at the moment, like this wide of peel.
This
I don't
much.
know. That's struggling. My wingspan is
Hang
just
on, we
really
go
not quite
together.
there.
Combine
Yeah,
it.
just-
There you go, that much.
Yeah, that's a lot of peel. As you can see, ladies and gentlemen, now that we're a bit larger, we are able to
hang on.
at least effectively do
I
it.
need
What?
to write down the draft quickly.
All right, you. Oh, okay. What?
There we go. Hang on. Oh, there we go.
Okay.
Nailed it.
Well, you write quickly, sir. You
I
write
wrote-
very quickly. But look, the Protect the Cogmore comp coming up against what is sort of an Avant fairly, I guess, physical heavy type comp. So it's sort of magic damage versus physical damage here, Rusty, as we do have a look at our lineups. You can see some interesting stuff from both of these sides. We'll see whether the Cogmore is going to work out here for Legacy. But if you think that AV are going to be able to take this one, use that hashtag on Twitter, AVWin. Or if you think Legacy is going to take it, use LGCWin. And let us know exactly what your thoughts on the matchup are going to be. Because I personally want to see what Legacy can do with this comp. It's going to be a difficult one to execute, I'd assume. Here, Rusty, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it'll be a little bit difficult to execute. Looking at the team composition that Legacy have got in place, they've still got a lot of Protect the Cogmore, as we mentioned.
Yeah.
I think that the danger is, as you mentioned, there's a lot of magical damage compared to that of the mixed, and I would say almost mostly physical damage. I'd like Avant-Garde's comp. I'm very surprised they got the Gangplank. The Zac I just always rate as very strong. And Poppy is the champion that I was wondering where Poppy was. I mentioned it at the start of the
Yeah.
draft, and here it is. And it's what I would define as the counter to Zac, so they picked it up first.
Yeah, grabbed that already. And I was actually expecting that Poppy to be moved into a different lane just because Blind Turkey getting that Thresh priority was going to be a thing that I was going to be looking for, but doesn't even matter. Of course, Poppy, a fantastic support in her own right, and now Blind Turkey to prove himself on a different champion. You can see no deep wards to come down. Legacy already with a bit of a defensive line towards the top side of the river there. Carbon's going to be starting on his Krugs. And you can see standard lanes going to ensue. And I really like this. It's got the standard sort of mage matchup there in the top lane with the Morgana versus the Lissandra.
Yeah, it is. Completely standard mage matchup, of course. Malaz has been known as you saw him hovering in the draft,
Yeah.
a Cassiopeia guy, but what that also means is he's quite proficient on these control mages in the top lane, or low mobility, AP-based damage champions. He's very good at controlling waves, manipulating minions to keep himself in a fantastic position in laning phase, and Tally being on this Lissandra shouldn't really find opportunities to engage on this Morgana whatsoever. And really, I think Avant should get themselves to the mid-game quite easily.
Yeah, we'll see whether they can. Of course, the team fights for both of these teams, just looking down the rosters, are going to be really scary. Because you've got the Gangplank ultimate, of course, the Let's Bounce coming out of Zach for massive amounts of CC, as Blind Turkey taking a bit of damage here in the bottom lane. Not to mention the fact that they then have the Soul Shackles as well as Blind Turkey running around, knocking people into the sky. Nice little pillar there as Regret9 able to knock up Destiny, but he just dashes through it. He'll be fine.
We're watching a top lane matchup with 2 AD carries just farming on the side. Which is something we've seen a lot of, is Poppy and Trundle at the moment fighting each other in that top lane. Basically, Regret will try and bite him, take some health away from the Poppy, and Blind Turkey will throw down his Q as well. And it'll be a rinse and repeat story with where do the ADs come in is the real question.
Yeah, that's a good point. We'll see exactly what they're going to do. It looks at the moment like they're just farming things out. As you can see, Rek taking a bit of damage there in the mid lane. Of course, Lulu can be a lane bully. Carbon's going to eat himself a Rift Scuttler, and Shelby going to continue to farm out his jungle. And a little bit more of the tanky focus for both of these junglers, as Shelby had his Rek'Sai taken away. Played it in both of the games last time we saw him, and Carbon picking that one up here for the first time in the OPL for this season. Of course, played a heck of a lot of it last season. In fact, built a Trinity Force one of the times.
Yeah, that's probably not going to happen this time. Titanic Hydra, if he was going to go offensive, is probably the best option for that one. I really like seeing Shelby on this Zac.
Yeah.
I feel like it plays to his aggression quite well. It just feels like a Shelby champion. And my other concern right now is what we're looking at as we speak. Choose.
Yeah, going very aggressive here on Direct. Gets taken down to about 150 health. Will have to back away. Does have teleport, though, if he wants to get back in.
Shelby's got a level.
Yeah, he's found Carbon in the jungle here, but you do have Choo-Choo's moving over. Regret9's there as well as King. He's taking a lot of damage. Blind Turkey's there. Forces the flash already out of the jungler from Avant, so lots of pressure from Legacy.
Forcing the flash was big, and the only reason that was forced is Regret9 playing this Trundle can block him with the pillar. This is something that you'll see more than once in this game, is Regret's pillar is able to completely thwart any Zac engages if he's prepared to stop it.
We'll see whether it continues to be as effective. I was wondering whether we'd still see this sort of disengage support style out of Regret9, as Strawbella has, of course, left the roster. Blind Turkey going to continue farming out here, but it's good to see him, and he's playing well so far.
Yeah, Regret started off nicely, of course, only laning phase. Nothing crazy to see yet. It's the mid to late game plays, essentially, where we'll see if he can shine through one more time. He was the crux of a lot of victories for Legacy in that last split. Being able to pick out people, mispositioned, even in like 50-minute show matches of Direwolves.
There's the heroic charge in the bottom lane, though. Regret taking a lot of damage. But does, of course, have that King's Tribute. Going to get a whole bunch of his health back from that passive.
Yeah.
Should be A-okay.
Absolutely.
Pop the potion and stand in your ground.
Pretty much. And I feel like that's a common trend across the entire board here. Junglers are where we look towards to see if they can make things happen. More trades.
Yeah, Blind Turkey getting boxed in here a little bit by that Icicle Pill. You can see King so much damage with that Bioarcane Barrage.
Basically got the full duration of it onto Blind Turkey just then. Losing a lot of his health and could pressure them potentially out of this lane. Avant keeping them pushed to the turret though, and again, the real difference between these teams are the two members on your screen just there, Carbon and Shelby. How can they influence the map? Shelby, level 5 on this Zac, has a lot of unique gank pathing opportunities.
Yeah.
But so does Rek'Sai, who you could almost compare to that of Shaco with the tunnels and the way he can get behind players to gank them himself.
Yeah, both of them sort of able to get over walls, able to come through behind people in lanes.
Yeah.
See whether either of them's going to be able to make it work. Of course, Shelby and Malaz.
He's just stalking Carbon.
Yeah, he is. He's wandering through that jungle. Able to eat himself tunnels, and look pretty proud of himself while he does it.
Carbon knows he's there.
Well, he's going to tunnel over. Prey Seeker not even going to be thrown out as Blind Turkey makes his way in. You can see Choo-Choo's continuing to pressure that mid lane. He can come over if they want to find someone here in the jungle.
Yeah.
Rex probably more than happy just trying to farm out this lane as best he can, get to that big Gangplank stage towards the late game as Shelby charging that elastic slingshot. King well out of range though. By well out of range, I mean probably only a few particles. That has a massive range.
I think most importantly, the team was out of range to help Shelby, and Regret's able to put down the pillar to cancel him anyway. So, and again, we're looking back at this middle lane. It's something I wanted to touch on one more time. I feel like Rekt is losing, sure, and Choo-Choo's has a lot of pressure on this Lulu and working towards the Frost Queen's claim will be making a lot of money.
Yeah.
The thing with Gangplank is he's always going to be scaling. Even if he's not using his Q on the minions, but he's using it on Choose, he gets 10 gold from that bandit anyway. And if he has Grasp of the Undying, stays as healthy as can be, and will still get his items. There's nothing you can do to stop a Gangplank from getting his items eventually. And once he's got that Trinity Force, it hurts.
Yeah, not to mention he just eats oranges and gets a bunch of his health back there as well. You can see he's more than happy in this lane at the moment with that Ruby Crystal for a little bit of extra health, and it's only behind by about 7 CS. Carbon launches himself back into the jungle there with that ultimate, as we heard. You can see Regret moving up that river trying to get some vision down. We'll see whether they do go for any sort of early dragon plays as Blind Turkey finds his way in. Able to throw out the buckler into Regret's face.
We're seeing 13 minutes roughly. It'd be a good dragon time. Choose could be in trouble. Doesn't look like it though.
Direct actually prioritizing the minions there just a little bit.
Yeah, Shelby actually walked in just to clear the wave. He immediately used the Q on the minions. Might be trying to help him get to the blue buff, but you've made it pretty obvious. I'll say that much. So now Choose can just freely push. If he wants to recall, he can. If he wants to pressure with Carbon, that works too.
Well, they did walk over a pink ward, saw that it was there as well, as Rekt has to move all the way around. Shelby makes it back towards the turret, but this may be a legacy steal.
Yeah, it looks to be.
Yeah. And it just comes down from Choose having that pressure in the mid lane.
Yeah, once again, Choose playing with a lot of pressure. This is a most important matchup, I would almost say, for Avant in particular.
Okay.
The jungle is a big deal for Avant. They always need to do well. Blind Turkey and Destiny, you have faith that they will go even. It's very similar to the last split Avant, where you just want them to go even and look for the team fighting and skirmishing. I think that if they can do well mid... Oh my god, hello.
Yeah, Tally actually going aggressive now as there's the Frozen Tomb. Carbon makes his way in. Stun goes off. Tally is going to get stopped, but Malaz burning down under the turret. Flash forward, and Tally's going to grab first blood. And I'm getting flashbacks from last time we saw him on Lysandra here, Rusty.
Last time we saw him, of course, hard carrying. Tally again gets that kill. And this is a big deal for Legacy as we move later into this game. Carbon actually getting his first successful gank off. Lots of positives here for Legacy at 9 minutes into this game. Easy gank as well, because the Black Shield's never going to be able to block all of the damage that Tally can put down. The Q gets rid of it. The W locks him down. The ultimate's always there if Morgana uses spells of her own. Easy work here for Legacy.
Yeah, nicely played so far here as well as King. He's falling down a little bit here in the laning phase so far. But as a Cogmore, wants to scale as much as possible, but this could be a problem as King able to at least skirt behind, but Regret 9's in trouble. Blind Turkey picks up the kill. As of course, Cannon Barrage helping out. Rekt is going to be pretty happy to have an assist.
And very desperate to stay alive there was Regret as he used his ultimate and tried to flash to safety. King also used the heal at the exact same time, so a lot of effort towards maintaining his health. King no summoners available now. Regret, with no health to speak of, thought that he could get out, and King's heal was, of course, too late.
Well, Carbon actually underneath his own turret. Shelby going to jump his way out as Blind Turkey. He's going to be okay. So as we get out of the replay, right back into the action. King just going to keep farming this one up. So nothing going to come from that little bit of aggression, and not even going to be able to take the turret just yet. You can see Legacy now with about a 500 gold lead as the kills have been evened up. You can see the top lane, though, Tally well ahead in that farm, getting towards that Rod of Ages.
Yeah. Gangplank used the ultimate in that engage in the bottom lane also, and Choose, you'll find very easily now has pressure in its entirety in this lane. Has finished its full item, whereas it's only a Sheen for Rekt.
Yeah.
And look at the amount of damage that Choose is placing down.
Speaking of damage, Culling comes out from Destiny, uses most of his mana bar for it, but just clearing out that wave, getting himself a back.
Yeah, wants to recall.
Yeah, we'll see what he decides to pick up. Carbon, though, once again with the aggressive maneuvers around this rift.
He's in.
Yeah, tunnels underneath. Is going to get the knock up. The double comes in with the Wild Growth. Rekt flashes out of the way, but that's not going to be enough as Carbon locks down the kill. Choo-Choo's tanks that turret for a long time, but they'll be okay.
Perfectly fine work here from Legacy, as that was almost too simple to execute dive onto Rekt. Use the flash to no avail again. Oh, hello.
Yeah, in goes Shelby. Let's bounces there. He flashes on top of him, though. Smackdown in the mid lane as Carbon's not going to do anything about it.
And every single bounce from Shelby connected. Choose unable to juke himself. Summoners being blown absolutely everywhere. And a teleport from Malaz.
Yeah.
Bottom.
Looking for Regret here. Gets slowed
Shelby's
down.
got him.
Yep. There's the elastic slingshot. Lands on top of Regret, who's looking for a way out of the Dark Binding, but doesn't find it. There's a heroic charge. As Soul Shackles, that's going to lock that one down. Shelby even grabs it.
Regret tried to cancel the elastic slingshot, but missed the pillar. And he pays for that with his life. A mistake here, a mechanical error from this Trundle support for Legacy. Sees him going down. Not what you want to have happen. And there's the Dragon.
Yeah, Dragon going to be locked down here by Avant, and Rekt able to have some free time here in the mid lane as well, as Even gets a barrel to secure the rest of that farm, and Carbon can't find his way in, so we'll see. Avant able to get some pressure down, now ahead in the kills. This game very even though, and still slightly in Legacy's favor, as Carbon, again with aggressive maneuvers, but Malaz is around.
The thing to keep in mind is Choose is in complete control of mid and can stalk as he pleases. Carbon actually unburrowing, not sure who he saw with the Tremor Sensor, needed confirmation. Found out it was Malaz and was quite happy about that, honestly.
Yeah.
Didn't actually flinch.
Could imagine that Tally was probably pretty happy with that as well, as he's had some free reign here in the top lane. Oh, Malaz locks down the Gromp, says thank you very much, Carbon.
We know what else has been locked down, about a 40 CS advantage from him rotating around the map.
Yeah.
I'm going to say near aimlessly with that teleport. And really, for a 1-0 Lissandra to now have that much of a CS discrepancy between the two, it's not a promising beginning here for the top lane of Avant.
Well, to Tally's credit, definitely, but in defense of Malaz a little bit, Tally is farming like an absolute beast right now. 140 of 14 minutes.
There's nothing to impede him, though.
Yeah, true.
It's a very easy work to do. Of course, if Morgana's not in your lane, and even when Morgana was in the lane, being that low of a level, Tally can work around his passive, some no mana cost.
Oh,
got him.
Feeling's just awful, right? Like I'm shooting him back. Oh, crap.
It depends on what champion you prefer in this matchup. I, for one, despise Lulu's existence.
Yep.
And
I'm
enjoy
aware of that.
Gangplank. So,
But Rekt able to at least get some farm back now. Trinity Force is going to be available, so this Gangplank well and truly coming online. He's difficult to keep down, Rusty, as a Gangplank.
yep.
As you may see that number being beneath that of Choo Choo's, but I have a feeling they're probably relatively similar as far as the money is concerned.
You would say somewhat similar. Of course, having the gold generation item in the Frost Queen's claim
true.
could extend that lead a little bit more so than you would otherwise think.
Shelby and Destiny behind enemy lines at the moment.
So reasonably ahead here in the middle lane, Choo-Choos.
Yeah, actually fantastically ahead there in the mid lane. I was most definitely wrong. Blind Turkey makes it out alive after his expedition. Almost managed to get rid of that turret there as well, as Carbon diligently defends it.
And Avant, I mean, waiting for item spikes to an extent. Not really able to push that aggressively. No dragon available for them to take. Rift Herald's not that big of a deal this early, and the only thing left to do is skirmish.
Yeah.
And I feel like Avant's plan of attack should be to focus where King is. He's going towards items now. He's got the Guinzu's Rage Blade, so starting to hurt, but if you can kill him, I mean, what's left? You just build magic resistance, focus King.
Well, that's the thing. We haven't seen this Legacy lineup really work out as it looks like it's designed to, though. As Dark Binding going to land onto King. Lots of damage from the culling as well. And as I say that, he just takes the shield from Choo Choo's in damage.
Yeah, not that much damage just yet. With a Lulu able to protect the AD carry here of Legacy. This is a great team composition for King to be in.
Oh, yeah.
And as much as I'm not necessarily for the Cogmore pick, I think he'll be in a good spot.
Well, Shelby's been discovered by Carbon. Blind Turkey in here as well. It's a very aggressive play as he gets the triple threat with the hammer. But there's the Frozen Tomb. He gets punished immediately. Destiny trying to get damage in on the outside as Legacy do have to back away after the cannon barrage. But they grab the pick and they get out.
They almost get a second one as well. Zach very close to going down, flashes his way to safety. And Blind Turkey honestly tried the same, but flashed into the wall. Legacy capitalized on him, and that was a pretty standard and simple kill to get. Working around vision control And the best thing was Carbon's sweeper actually revealing them the entire time.
Yeah. Maybe just a little bit of over-aggression and overconfidence there by Blind Turkey as well, who was all the way back in there with the heroic charge. Choo Choo's answering the split push of Rek now, just bringing the same pressure from the mid lane to the bottom lane. Rek not going to get any spare time.
No, and that's the massive deal. Choo Choo's has gone for teleport. In fact, we're looking at 4 teleports across the board in this game. Both mid laners and top laners respectively are picking that one up. And the decision to go where the gangplank is really smart. He's already winning lane. You may as well extend that lead by controlling your lane opponent directly. And by going into that bottom lane, he doesn't get enough of a chance to just freely farm. No one can... He's going to be impeded even further.
Well, you can see King. He's trying to work his way back from a deficit here as utilizing the Ginsu's Rage Blade very nicely. You saw him just getting down all those minions to relatively low, and the AoE rips them apart. But he does have a bit of a ways back to make, as it's 30 CS the difference at the moment. Shelby just farming out here in the river.
Good timing, though. Dragging up in 30 seconds to be able to have the Rift Scuttle buff. Bit of move speed. The Stagnant Shurelias that you get.
I like it. Stagnant Shurelias, what a fantastic way to describe it. Dig that a lot. Mid lane, though, is going to get shoved in completely. Destiny going to answer that. Blind Turkey makes his way around, but nice defensive vision available for AV, especially towards their top side. So at least Malaz will be safe farming out this lane.
I just am really concerned for Malaz. Farm as much as you want, but you are 70 behind.
Yep.
And you're further than 70 behind because there's a kill and assist on Tally as well. He's got his Rod of Ages and an Abyssal Scepter against the Frost Queens and components. And he's got completed boots too, with those Lucidities, compared to just the brown leather bags. I mean, it's just not great. And if Legacy use Tally, how do they lose fights?
Well, Blind Turkey might be in a little bit of trouble. Shelby and Malaz are going to be there. Dark Binding not going to find it though, so Legacy going to be well and truly in control of this particular skirmish. Blind still positioning aggressively as Destiny makes his way over. And it's again the story of Malaz moving in, Tally staying top lane, but AV not being able to find anything off it.
Yeah, and Tally's just going to keep at it. As much as Malaz wanted to find that binding in the last little skirmish they had in the middle lane, he now has to deal with this push in top. Blind Turkey.
Yeah, Carbon going to get the knock up here as well as Destiny off to the side. There's the Cannon Barrage. Culling comes through though. There's Destiny looking for a kill. Regret 9 takes so much damage as the Rift Herald's going to go home. That is going to be the kill. No, well, the passive, of course, of Shelby as Tally makes his way in. Now looking to really cement this one.
Tally.
Huge Circle of Frost as Destiny's able to at least get himself out for now. Blind Turkey sacrifices himself for the good of the team. So that is still a 3-0 in favor of Legacy.
And Choose comes in with the timely engage to work around the rest of his team. All King had to do was flash the Zac slingshot because no one else was able to get in range of him. This Baron is getting skewered.
Yeah, at 20 minutes on the dot. Let's see this again, though.
So Blind Turkey's dash gets cancelled by Carbon's knockup. The flash, King is now in a safe zone. Shoes gets in, and we're still waiting for the teleport from Tally. He comes in on a flank and has to use the flash, but the engage is exactly what the doctor ordered for these guys. Destiny gets out, but only barely as he has to use his summoners, and Blind Turkey was left to the wolves.
And you just see at the end of that fight, King completely untouched, and what he's capable of doing to you as a Cogmore who's untouched in the back of a team fight. He was a machine gun.
And it comes down to his individual mechanics. Regret was doing his absolute best to peel for him, but realistically, King needs to have that flash available, and honestly, I would almost suggest he upgrades his boots to have distortion in this game, just to have flash up more often.
Well, Tally once again a massive benefactor in that particular team fight. Huge Circle of Frost. Managed to lock down 3 people and then secure that fight. So Legacy looking great in the team fight phase. As Baron buff was, of course, taken. King going to take himself a free out of turret. Shelby looking for a potential dragon. Doesn't have his passive, though. So not going to try and steal anything. Heads down to the Krugs, and it's now AV just trying to go on damage control as best they can.
Yeah, Vant, they have to do what they can with what they have. And at the moment, what they have is a control mage in the top lane that can't actually split push. Because if he leaves them, Shelby
Oh, Shelby looking for King, but doesn't actually get the knock-up. There's the cannon barrage as Regret9 walking straight through it. Doesn't really care as Tally's going to get taken out by Destiny. Might be an opportunity here for AV as Shelby is so low. Elastic Slingshot comes out. He might be safe now on the back line as Malaz is going to have his Q dodged. Wrecked, able to clear out the minion wave at least, but Regret9 still looking for more as King. He's just got so much damage on this turret. You can see already taken down to almost dead. But AV, they grab a pick.
That was so good by Shelby. He dodged literally everything that King just tried to throw at him, and all of King's focus was on taking down the Zac who didn't die. Just, like, watch this. Shelby goes in, and honestly, just keep your eyes on him, because King just starts to destroy him. Trundle used the ultimate, resistances are gone, and watch this. Just fancy feet the entire time. Nothing hits him at all, and then he jumps out, and the last one still misses.
Man,
They didn't get the pick they were looking for, Legacy, whereas Avant do.
really nice play out of the jungler. We said that this was going to be a matchup to watch, and so far, things that have been going right for Legacy. Carbon's been right there trying to illustrate it, and Shelby just then showing that he still has it. Mechanics are still there, Rusty.
He's still got it. Of course, what they don't have at the moment is the gold lead, as Legacy are well and truly ahead. Oh, I was expecting that to hit, though.
But Destiny does have a QSS. That's going to be a big deal, getting rid of Tally's Frozen Tomb. So this Lucian will be a little bit more maneuverable. As there are the spooky ghosts.
Didn't even phase him.
No, it didn't flinch. Man, he ain't afraid of no ghost.
And we said last time we watched Avant play that Destiny's got one thing that he is just really damn good at. That's last hitting minions.
Oh, yeah.
And I can tell you right now that he's doing it exceptionally well one more time.
Well, he's a support player. He's had pent-up need to farm for his entire career. So he's getting it all out right now,
Yeah.
making up for those horrible CS numbers that he was pulling last OPL Split as a support.
Rounding out the stat.
Yeah, well, Wrecked is able to clear out this minion wave quite nicely. Blind Turkey, though, takes a lot of damage. There's the cannon barrage. They may have set this one up as King. He flashes over the wall, able to take down Blind Turkey there at the same time as Regret is going to move out of the way of that Dark Binding as well. And AV, they thought they may have had it, but end up just losing their support.
They lose their support, but they also take the summoners away from King. And is it possible for Legacy to push this next turret against the Morgana and the Zac, who just got cancelled?
Yeah, he did. Unable to get the work done as right into the back line goes Tally. Finds everyone with his ultimate on himself, and they just get them out of the way of the turret, and they'll take that one down just fine.
And the best thing is that he used the ultimate on himself. The QSS was even popped by Destiny, but that was just to get out with his life from the W, and Tally keeps himself alive by using it as a self-cast. Smart play here from Legacy. Zoning them away, getting another pick, but again, they're just really getting picks. The turret's getting poked at, as was the bottom one, but nothing actually taken.
Carbon going to be backing here, able to get it. Can we go back to the fountain?
Is it going to hit him?
Yeah, no, it will. It will.
Yep,
There
Wrecked.
it is.
Actually slowed him down. He doesn't have
Man.
home guards.
Wrecked is like, Caitlyn, screw you. I got the longest range.
That was actually outplayed right there.
Yeah,
Where are
nailed
my
it.
home guards?
Hey, true. Cancelled, man. Cancelled. Teleport into the mid lane, though, as Legacy. They want to get revenge for Carbon's back being ruined.
Can't pray Seeker a keg, Carbon.
He's trying, though.
What are you doing, man?
In his defense, he was underground. You couldn't really see what that was.
Vision from his team. Don't give me that.
Shelby going to lose another blue buff here as he's forced out of his jungle, but is going to relinquish it.
You can tell King wanted that one as well. This Cogmore is in a scary, scary position for Avant to deal with if he lives through the engage. He's against the Zac gangplank.
Well, in goes Shelby. They're still looking for King, but they don't actually find it. It is going to mean that Shelby can get out. Black Shield helping him out a lot there. And they may just rinse and repeat.
They likely will. Of course, Zac can do as he pleases if there is a Black Shield on top of him. Able to re-engage once every 10 seconds roughly, and just sitting on the flank at the moment. Trying to find his way in. Carbon, very smart though. Pushes him around. He has to walk back towards the back end of the turret, and they could lose this.
Yeah, their wave clear is so huge though on the side of AV. Blind Turkey! Oh my god, King!
That
so
is
much damage.
a Lulu Cogmore comp starting to come to fruition. dangerous, dangerous territory.
He's turning into a goo hose. It's just the auto attacks coming out. It's just a single stream, man.
Yeah, the machine gun.
Yeah, it sounds better than goo hose, I have to admit.
The goo hose.
Well, he gets pierced by the light as the inner turret is getting under fire. Chlorodoom thrown out, but not going to be followed up upon as AV may look to get something done, but no, still just going to stay under their turret. And at the moment, man, AV against the ropes, Rusty.
Definitely, but they've got their bottom wave pushing, and that is a monstrous wave of blue dots. Likely even take the turret. So one of them should be recalling, or they find a fight now.
Yeah, Legacy, they're looking for it as Shelby gets chunked a little bit, but that's not the character they really want. He's not very squishy on this, Zach, as Legacy able to clear out the vision, but you're right, might be the time for them to move away as Shelby's charging that slingshot, finds Carbon with the knock-up. It may not necessarily be what they want.
See you
There's
later.
the ultimate. See you guys. Have a disengage, as the Cannon Barrage was a little bit mistimed there by Rect.
Still kind of used for the disengage, the Cannon Barrage, to stop them from coming back into a choke point here. Legacy could have found a point of power. The interesting part here is if Legacy go bottom, there is no teleport on Choo Choo, who has just revealed himself. Avant now recognize this and are working their way around the Baron area, and they should have control of this pit.
Yeah, I really loved it. As soon as they saw that Lulu, they knew that they could move out of that jungle, get amongst it. Destiny even realizes that he can grab himself a sneaky outer turret, sorry. They'll close that gold gap by just a little bit. 8,000 though is still the lead for Legacy. Still definitely in control, and I think the Tally may just take this one in the top lane.
Yeah, he certainly should be. It was at half before Tally even got to it. Does a fair bit of damage now. He's got his ability power stack, so bonus damage onto the turret.
110 CS in the lead as well.
Yeah.
Just massive on this Lissandra.
Just Malaz is essential to his team at the moment. Having that black shield gives them the engage, gives them the counter engage essentially, or denies any chance of Legacy going in. Without him there, I don't see them being able to actually win fights at all. And so he's going to fall further and further behind. Gangplank is the one that has to split push.
Yeah, and he has to get a lot of money here as well. Does have the Infinity Edge, another BF sword chilling there as well as those Lucidity boots. We'll see what he decides to pick up. Probably won't be the Essence Reaver.
It should be Essence Reaver.
Really, for the 50% CDR.
It's just the way that people are building Gangplank at the moment.
Yeah.
Accelerating, if you're 10% over, so be it. As
That's
long
a
as
good
you
point.
have the max is better than having 20.
See whether he buys it and changes that boot option maybe later on. And it is a Mercurial Scimitar completed here for Destiny, so some lifesteal now built up in that kit. 30% CDR as well, so he'll be skating around these fights quite nicely. Skipping the Lucidity boots, just wants to be able to get to those big damage items as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
And Blind Turkey does now have the Locket of the Iron Solari, so he's doing well. They have no vision of this Baron, and King is just going to melt it down as well.
Gwynzooz is online.
Yeah, AV looking to try and get in there, but you can see Tally just does so much damage to Turkey. Has to flash, but it's too late. King, he's taken so much damage, though, from somewhere. Rector's teleported in. They do have to peel away from the Baron. And Choo Choo just said, go home, King. Go get some health.
But I want Raptors.
Yeah, he moved
I must
really
farm.
quickly, though.
He's staying around, has life still, so King, if he gets this next wave.
Oh,
nice.
Blocks it with the pillar. Let's bounce out now from Shelby as there's the barrel. Carbon takes a bunch of damage, and Destiny has to get out of there as best he can. No knock-up to come through as Rect has the barrels.
They're just being oppressive right now, Legacy. Forcing Barons, making Avant answer the call. Every single time that Legacy tried to poke at something or get something done, Avant are awkwardly face-checking, and it's not going to work out for them if it continues in this manner. Try to get the vision control down here, Avant, or you really will continue to struggle.
Yeah, it's getting more and more difficult as Destiny able to lock down the blue buff there. The Grunt may fall here as well, but the game just resting firmly in Legacy's hands as Carbon Void rushes in, but just home guards his way around and is going to dodge the AV members waiting in the river.
Not a lot of magic resistance yet for Avant. I'm not even sure if they can afford to itemize towards magic resistance because they need damage so desperately. King is still doing magic damage. He's got a Gwynzoo's Rage Blade, Blade of the Ruin King build.
Yeah.
But the fact that they can't afford to itemize into it, otherwise they won't be able to kill King, says a lot about what this draft is now capable of doing in the next team fights.
And they've got no one that really wants to build a Frozen Heart either, which is probably a pretty decent item against the old attack speed-based Kog'Maw.
You would almost say Morgana has to get it.
Yeah, exactly.
Or Poppy. Poppy can get it.
That's a good point. Already does have that Glacial Shroud, so it looks to be going towards that item.
And you know what? Why not just get 70% CDR and GP?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
For Baron.
Yeah, look at King. I thought that was the culling. But no, that's just his auto attack. Don't worry about it. Going out really, really fast. There's the Scrying Orb. Cannon Barrage coming down on top of the Baron. Regret hanging out just to try and stop this one. Frozen Tomb comes in as
King's
Callie
out.
is just taking this one. The whole team on his own. No worries. May even be able to get out as the Let's Mounts comes in. There's Destiny picking up the kill, though, with the culling. Regret 9. Maybe the next option slowed by Chelby.
Hello,
but
bot lane.
Choo-Choo's is just split pushing. He's got a Lich Bane. Does a bunch of damage to these turrets. And AV has been ran around the map.
King got knocked out of the Baron pit by a Poppy ultimate. And that is basically what secured Avant a positive trade there. Legacy, they're not done.
Yeah,
Wow.
Blind Turkey takes so much damage. King right in the backline flashes, but Chelby still gets the knock up. He just takes so much damage back, though. The barrel, oh, it's just not enough. The shutdown on Destiny. Choo-Choo's is having a field day. Malaz just says, yep, I have a feeling we're going to lose this team fight. And Legacy, they just look so good.
Again, Choo-Choo is just having a massive impact in this game. Going to be able to close this one out almost, you would have to imagine, with 4 members dead for this long.
Yeah.
GP's good at holding, but no one's this good at holding when King is looking threatening and does so much damage.
He presses W. Look at this. It's the Goo Hose. It's just insane. So much damage. As, yep, that inhibitor's going to fall. Bottom inhibitor is already done. As Legacy, 4 members, 5 members now strong as Tally has managed to teleport in. Blind Turkey taking a lot of damage here as the Nexus turrets fall. Nexus under fire. That's not going to last long. Tally throws out the ultimate for a bit of fun. They are able to lock down the win, and Legacy, they just look dominant. Looks like you and our analysts they were right.
Yeah, look, Legacy look completely dominant. You don't give them the draft that they just had, Atlas, because Lissandra Lulu first rotation, it's silly. Don't do that. Ever. Thank you.
Yes, I agree. But our analysts are going to break down that game, so let's send it over to the desk for some more analysis.
Thank you so much, you two. I don't know what exactly is going on over there today.
They're looking a bit different, but lost a lot of weight, a lot hairier than we remember as well. So looking good, boys.
Yeah,
looking
I
good.
like to think that Rusty has gone with the Spawn inspiration of growing some facial hair there, not shaving a little bit. So shout out to Rusty and being able to pull that one off.
You
I
guys
didn't
are
think
related,
you had it
so
in.
that does make sense.
We are definitely twins at the moment, so that is good to know. But getting into that game wasn't really the cleanest agenda from either team, and the draft wasn't great either.
Yeah, I think Coach Jish would have been very disappointed with both of those drafts. Rusty just mentioned the Lissandra Lulu first pick. Both of those champions are really good in the current meta. They're both good flex picks, but picking both your solo lanes in the first rotation, and then they just get counterpicked anyway. Like the flexibility of those two picks becomes completely null after you pick them both. They both sort of lose to the same champions anyway. So
yeah.
It just doesn't really do anything, I guess.
It's funny, we kind of saw what happens when you double flex mages and you can't take it anywhere in yesterday's set when they just took Olaf into the top lane and completely railroaded the Lissandra because of the exact same thing. There are so many picks out there that do counter control mages in longer range. Very hard to do it in the mid lane. It's brutal, but
There's one in this game. Adrian brought it up earlier when we were talking between the games. There's a Poppy available to take into this Lissandra, and Malaz is a good Poppy player.
Yeah, he's actually, he's probably the best Poppy top laner on the server. He loves the champion at the moment. Really broken champion, really good. Strong lane into Liss. If they just put it top lane and then picked, a good support, instead of picking it and then putting it bot lane and then Morgana top, which just gets wrecked by Lissandra anyway, I don't really understand.
But obviously, so you get through the draft, and there are other things that go on here. And once again, we said that we're looking towards Malaz to kind of try and get involved with some things and start carrying his team. But Tally played that lane pretty aggressively, and, Carbon was able to get there and help him out.
Yeah, this is sort of the issue with Morgana top, and we've seen it in a couple of other regions, but Morgana's a great laner, like, very safe, always secure your farm. It's just good times all around for Morgana. The issue in long lane Morg is when you fall behind at all, you just become a potato. You can't do anything. Like, you just sit there soiling like, I'm done. Like, your champion just doesn't do anything.
Literally useless. Literally useless. He was down like 100 CS by the end of the game. Just couldn't do anything.
Yeah, and Carbon ganked well. Like, that's not necessarily Malaz's fault, but it's a product of the champion when you pick it. If there's pressure there, and there was, it's very easy to gank Lissandra's lane. Problems just keep compounding.
And the last lane I want to throw to is Wrecked in the mid lane, because that was actually a lane that wasn't impacted from junglers, and Choo Choo's just completely 1v1 outdueled him, did very well in that laning phase.
Yeah, he just naturally lost his tower, which is actually huge. Just literally no jungle intervention, just losing your turret to a Lulu in the mid lane. Gangplank should just be able to wave clear, should be okay, but he just lost.
And then what happened? So you get all of this, and we're talking about we've got into the laning phase now, and we've actually got a replay, because all of this together meant that Legacy's comp became a death ball pastry time. And take us through this, because this is the last team fight, and look at the advantages down the line.
We definitely give a little bit of criticism for Legacy with how they drafted this comp, but they definitely played Lulu Lissandra well together, which is sort of interesting. So let's walk through this. It's pretty much the last fight of the game as we roll things out. Tally and Regret do a nice job zoning everyone else away, and Blind Turkey does kick King out of the Baron pit, which is quite funny, but Carbon is able to secure Baron, although it does get low and die, I think, towards the back. But just look at all the work Tally's doing. He's buying so much time, does finally go down, and then, okay, it looks actually pretty good for AV. Choose is down the bottom, split pushing, of course, though, so with his Lich Bane, which was a good choice this game to go more of a carry build, he is actually able to threaten fights and structures just like this. And that's so much work done just from CC, and even in fights that you saw as well, even though they'd snowballed the game a lot, it's the same thing. Lissandra starts so many fights so well, and Lulu's probably the best backup.
Yeah, so in the end, you got this person on your backline going into stasis. They get the inhib anyway. They secure the Baron for themselves. They win the 4v5 afterwards. Everything went well for Legacy in that game, and, it was kind of funny, the fact that Avant, we were talking so much that they have to pick strong skirmishes. They have to be able to go into this. They kind of just gave, I guess, late game power picks too much priority.
It's just such a defensive comp.
It really is. It really is. It really is. And stylistically, I disagree with them putting all their emphasis on the bottom lane. They had the Poppy Lucian, which is a very aggressive bottom lane, and then putting Malaz, probably the best player on that team, I would say, on the Morgana to peel for a Lucian. If you want to pick a hyper carry and pick a Morgana top, I'd agree with it. But then it just doesn't work.
Speaking of hyper carries, there was one in this game. I don't really know why they picked it. We were talking about it before. King's Kog'Maw. He's a great Kog'Maw player. He loves the champion. Obviously, a very different champion to maybe when we've seen Kog before. But I felt like it could have been this Kangaroo at this point. It didn't really matter which AD carry they had. He had a good game. They made sure they build him up and he got items and then just destroyed people. But it could have been anything.
But you play with a Kog'Maw player in Radiant. he still has faith in the champion as well. Is there a spot in the current meta for Kog'Maw?
Maybe. He's okay. He's really good into tanks, but AV only had solo tank Zac, so last pick in the Kog'Maw wasn't really necessary at all. Like Pastry said, it could have been any AD carry and it would have worked.
Well, there you go, guys. It could have been anything, and Legacy probably still would have won that game one. But they have to win another one at least if they are going to take the series. Don't go anywhere. We will be back after this short break for Game 2 versus Avant and Legacy. welcome back everyone to the OPL. We are here for Legacy versus Avant. I'm still here with Ejim and Pastry Time, and Legacy stormed into Game 1 and took it in pretty commanding fashion. However, yesterday on the show, we asked you, how long do you think the Chiefs will, I guess, hold on to the OPL Legend title? We have Ejim here today. We still want to hear from you guys at home, but it's great that we have one of the Chiefs members because maybe he can give us some insight. When are you going to drop a game?
We're not. Undefeated, boys. Undefeated season 2.
Well, you didn't go through undefeated last season.
Like,
You lost in the final.
we won the series. We won the series, so it still counts.
That is technically true. They dropped a map against Legacy, of course, in the finals, but they were able to bring it back and win that 3-1. Legacy playing in this matchup, once again, looking to prove that they are a dominant team in the OPL still and trying to get up there and challenge the Chiefs. We had some issues with their drafting phase. Do they win if they draft similar this time around?
Legacy?
Yeah.
I guess.
The other team drafts?
Yeah,
Like both teams kind of had interesting different drafts at different points, right?
Yeah, I think the onus is on AV to draft better than it is Legacy to do that again, sort of thing. AV, I think their draft would have been okay if instead of the last pick Morgana to put it top, I think if they just picked a Mundo is super good into double AP. Zach wouldn't be solo tanking versus AP, so he has to build Spirit Visage, and then it's just getting hit in the face by a Kog'Maw. He just can't do anything.
Did AV get too cute? Because I know that when teams were playing the Chiefs last year, they would go with these cute compositions, maybe run a Malphite bottom lane, try and go for these kill lanes just to take you guys out. Was that draft with Flex picking the Morgana and the Poppy maybe just a little bit too cute for AV? Should they have just run something more standard and tried to take it to them game 1?
I think so. I guess all I can speak from is my experience, and I've never seen the Morgana top from AV, so I don't know how much practice they've had on it. I assume they've done a bit, otherwise they wouldn't be pulling it out in the OPL. But
yeah, I think so. But I definitely think they got too cute. Even just with where they put these champions. We even said the game 1 draft was fine. They just sort of put the champions in the wrong lanes, just reverse top and support, and then the draft probably looks a lot better. I think for me in general, Legacy, it was a greedy draft more than anything else in Game 1. And if you get away with it, like they did with Lulu Lissandra, and play it as well as they did, you can maybe afford to draft like this again, but I don't think they're going to get away with it. So they are going to have to change something here.
And, we've hit the draft a lot, and the opposite of that is hitting the bans a little bit. We saw that Ezreal got taken off the Rift. It is a good control champion, but maybe isn't something that you would look to target against Legacy. Did you think that maybe they could have taken something else away in the ban phase there?
I think Legacy's comp revolves so much around the Lulu Lissandra. We've been talking about that, how it's really strong. If they just replace the Ezreal ban with something like a Lulu or a Lissandra, Lulu obviously, if they know Kog'Maw wants to be played by Legacy now, Lulu is obviously the better option. Get rid of that. If King plays Ezreal, then it doesn't really matter. Put him on a passive bot lane. Make the Legacy bot lane play passive into you, and then use your top side of the map pressure with Malaz to get an advantage. So I think top side pressure into winning the game is how AV are going to take the game off Legacy.
We talked about bot lane maybe being the weakest point here for Avant, but it wasn't the problem in this game. They played absolutely fine. Yes, they had a strong bot lane into a Kog'Maw Trundle, so they actually ended up winning the lane in CS at least early on, but I think in general, the bottom lane's going to be fine. It's pretty hard to get completely dumpstered in the bottom lane.
Yeah.
And I think, give Malaz a bit more pressure, because like we said, Morgana, once you start losing or falling behind in lane, you just can't apply pressure. And if you're 2 solo laners, people expect you to carry you through this series, can't actually do enough, then you're obviously going to have a bad time.
And the other thing it kind of did is it didn't give Chelby anywhere to operate on the map. We saw that he was late to a couple of ganks and picked up some kills. He had a very nice gank in the bottom lane, but every time he ran into Carbon, it was kind of on Carbon's terms in the end, and that just doesn't allow him to do his job that we're expecting.
Yeah, top side of the map was just winning so heavily for Legacy. Every time Shelby walks into Carbon, he just has to back out. You saw early in the game, even bot side, he got caught in their blue buff, got caught out a bit, took a massive chunk, they had to reset, lost a lot of pressure.
Yeah, I think Rexa is actually the champion that almost hidden won Legacy that game. If you have a greedy draft and you need your bottom lane to stay okay, and you absolutely need to make sure your top half of the map gets through and probably one of your lanes wins, whichever one you pick, in this case top lane, which made sense given the Morgana pick. Rexa is just so good at reacting to whatever happens and controlling the jungle, and Shelby always wants to be there either ganking or counter ganking first. They're both very good at jungle pathing, and Rexa just kind of makes it easy.
And even I guess I'm harping on the Morgana a lot, but you were saying earlier that Rek'Sai can't really gank Morgana, and that's just a really safe lane. If you put her against a Lissandra, Lisa's just going to E on your head, she's going to W to pop the shield, you're just going to get ulted and knocked up by Rek'Sai, and you can't do anything.
Yeah, and the thing that I was interested in is I was explaining how before level 6 you can't really gank it, then as the lane progresses it's more about what Morgana does to bottom lane. They didn't translate any of that power into the bottom lane, which honestly confused the heck out of me because I'm a fan of Top Morgana. I was trying to defend you, Malaz. It wasn't working very well. But let's see if you can, I guess, make an improvement on game 2 because the casters are ready. Let's get into it.
Thank you very much, Spawn, and welcome back to the Caster Desk, everyone. I'm, of course, Atlas. This is Rusty, and we're ready to get into the next champ select. And I love that they mentioned the Rek'Sai here because Carbon was fantastic on the champion, and 2 games in a row was Chelby in their last series with that Rek'Sai. So, of course, might be a thing to consider moving into this draft.
Absolutely. I think it's worth considering for this Avant side in particular, and Legacy being first pick is something that'll be very important if they choose to go for the Rek'Sai. The thing is, they may want to go for the Lissandra or the Lulu again, and I really want to see what Avant actually ban in response, because the onus is on them to ban these things accordingly.
Yeah, that's a good point. So the Malphite is going to be banned out first up here from Legacy. The response is going to be the Tahm Kentra to the other side of the Rift. Malaz, a couple of good games on that champion, but we're not going to be seeing it in this particular one. And as we see, I mean, what are the sort of the obvious bans, Rusty?
Well, the most obvious one is generally the Rise away from Legacy. I don't know if Avant play it, but what I do know is that Malaz likes control mages. Rise would be a pretty good one, you know. Never seen that champion win games, but
yeah.
I think they should get rid of the Rise. I'm very surprised about that ban, though. What is that?
That is a Poppy.
They just beat that.
That is a Poppy right there. Oh, sorry, my eyes just aren't what they used to be at the moment, Rusty. So Poppy is going to be banned away, so Blind Turkey not going to see that one. So interesting sort of second ban round here for Legacy, because I don't think the Poppy was necessarily that impactful. The ultimate was fantastic, most definitely.
Yeah, so there was a really cool thing, and we mentioned the Rek'Sai. Rek'Sai actually directly countered Poppy that entire game. So every single time that he tried to dash and knock someone into the wall, Rek'Sai can cancel that using his Unburrow, which is an interaction you're not used to seeing with Poppies ever, because Poppy usually overrides everything.
It's a good point.
But Rek'Sai did well to stop that. The Trundle stopped the Zac, so as good as the Avant-Garde draft was, it feels like Legacy individually from like one person's mechanics, just from the champion alone, almost outplayed them entirely.
It's a good point. But the Lulu is going to be banned away. We'll see what Avant are going to answer with as Graves was taken off the board, so Carbon not going to see that champion again. Really aggressive and definitely been something that he's been great at. Are you doing exercises right now? It's like,
No, I was just
yeah, I can't even reach behind my head. My head's
yoga.
much bigger than yours.
Do yoga. Ready?
Okay. Oh,
Whoa! Look at that.
Whoa!
2 hands.
Okay. Okay, I'm feeling uncomfortable. Lissandra, though, is going to be banned out of the way. Let's just shake it off. Shake it off. Okay. And Lissandra is going to be banned, so that's going to be the first pick. Rise straight out. Boom.
Yeah,
Got
and
it
again,
right.
Rise is the champion that we said they should probably ban away from Legacy. They've banned away the Lissandra. They've also gotten rid of the Graves. But there's also, I mean, Legacy banned Lulu, so both of those champions are gone. And they just picked the other one that you would almost argue is the best one of the 3 that is banned the most. Yeah, that guy up there.
Yeah. So
The Rise.
My arms are longer than yours, man. Yeah, so that guy, the Rise that we were just pointing out there. So Olaf is considered now for AV. We'll see what they do decide to go with. Stop being so tall. Okay, Shelby. Back to a tried and true Elise as far as the hover is concerned. And Avant, couple of options. It is going to be the Alistair and the Elise. Sorry, stuck on an elevator again, guys. Oh, why did we put it over that side of the room? Oh, no. This is so awkward. Oh, man. Okay. Are you done?
Yeah.
Are you done?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay, good.
Well, too much fun doing that.
Yeah, no. Legacy now. The next couple of picks, we try and find ourselves here in this champion select. And now with the Rise, they can flex both the mid and the top lane.
Yeah.
We'll see what they do decide to go with here. It'll probably be like a support and jungle or something like that. Rek'Sai, of course, the option, but they don't need to rush into that pick at this stage here for Legacy because Carbon, I mean, no, it's not going to be played anywhere else.
No, I mean, they could just go for the Rek'Sai. It doesn't show them anything at all, so happy to pick that one up. Maybe any other jungler they want to go towards, even the Lee Sin again. Play an AD-based champion. Hell, Kindred is available. I just really like Carbon on Rek'Sai because he's such a vision-based jungler.
Yeah, it's a good point. And look, there it is. So it's going to be the Thresh and the Rek'Sai locked in. Really, really versatile champions. Can be picked into almost anything. So Legacy just not showing their hands at all.
Yeah, absolutely right. It's basic. It takes away the Thresh from Blind Turkey, which is a massive deal. He doesn't have the Poppy available to him. So taking the Thresh is like his next best option, or his best option that just wasn't picked in the first draft, is now gone again.
So Avant now to sort of round out their team comp just a little bit here with Rekt and Destiny still to lock in their picks. We'll see what they do decide to go with. So they're taking some time. Hurry up. Yeah. Can you poke them? You're like right there, man. it's not really working.
Lock in.
They're not even hovering anything, though, at the moment, so Avant definitely thinking about something. What are some options here is, the Mundo considered at the moment. As far as power picks that are still left open, Gangplank has been unseen, but just didn't quite work for Avant last time around. Lucian, another choice here for Destiny. It's going to be 4 games in a row on Lucian.
Yeah, only playing Lucian at the moment, so good to see that one locked in because he does well on this champion every single time that he plays it. No reason to change if they're not going to address it as a thing, right? And the Mundo is the adaptation from the last draft. They've still got a tankish support. Poppy, of course, did that. Malaz is picked up the other stuff for Blind Turkey, which is going to be just much tankier, but doesn't have the same type of play style, I guess, that a Poppy presents. Having the Mundo there is like double frontline this time, which is what they were missing. As Ejim mentioned on the desk, Zach was solo tanking a Kog'Maw. Not good.
Bad. Yes. Well, King now thinking about the Callista. Over here.
Yeah, no.
I got confused. I got to turn around. You're so beautiful, Rusty. It was Gangplank Legacy looking to try their hand, and look, what are these solo lanes? The solo lanes from Legacy just look really frightening right now. The Rise and the Gangplank, generally your standard red side bands for their power, are going to both be picked up by Legacy.
That is gross.
And they had so much power! So much power in the last game in their solo lanes.
We don't even know what lanes they're going to be in just yet. That's the scary part. You would imagine that it's going to be Gangplank mid again, as we have seen in the past, and Rise to go in that top lane.
Yep.
The interesting thing is they can still choose where they want them to go, given what they draft as their mid laner for their last pick here on Avant. Realistically, you would put the Rise into the Mundo, who starts to scale. I think if Mundo stacks the magic resistance, you go Void Staff as well, I've seen from most Rises. And there's always a point in the game where you can kill that Mundo.
Yeah, it's very true. And as far as scaling is concerned, Rise is no slouch. It is going to be wrecked, locking in that LeBlanc. So we did see him on that into the Anivia, which was an awful matchup.
Yeah.
But he should be a lot better now into the Gangplank, who's not going to have as much power early. But Rek definitely a lot on his plate at the moment, dealing with this Legacy lineup that has just so much strength. And then Carbon, and then as well King on the Callista for that mid-game power. Oh man, this Legacy team comp looks like there were no bans. I mean, they're there.
And that's the sad part, though. They banned such strong champions. The Poppy, Lulu, Malphite are gone. Tahm Kench, Graves, Lissandra, all good champions. But there are just so many good champions to pick from at the moment that they still got essentially like a smorgasbord of the best picks possible.
Exactly, smorgasbord. Most definitely. Well, AV, we'll see what they can do with their comp, but they're on the back foot already, Rusty, moving into this game, and it's only looking worse after that draft.
I worry for them. I didn't mean to get that close, sorry.
Yeah. I'm frightened of you now, man.
I worry for them. I worry for Avant
better.
right now.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, I'm definitely worried for them as well. We haven't seen the Mundos working out at all so far here in the OPL. So we'll see what happens. But if you think that Legacy can close this one out 2-0 tonight, use that hashtag LGC win. Or if you think that Avant, with this team comp, can take this victory, bring us to first game number 3 of the OPL. Use that hashtag AV win and let us know exactly who you think is going to take this game. Because I do think that if AV can win this game, this one in particular, then they're going to stand so much more of a chance moving forward, because this is arguably the most devastating team comp we've seen in a long time.
Yeah, I will say there is a marked improvement from Avant in their team composition overall, which is potentially the saving grace of these guys coming into game number 2. Legacy being 1-0 up, they've got the momentum, and they've got very good champions to boot. We have seen Gangplank not find much success competitively so far.
Yeah.
Even internationally. And it comes as a surprise. I feel like a lot of people have slept on Gangplank's strength, knowing that it won't be available. And they come into their competitive matches, realize it's there, and say, oh crap, we better actually pick this one. And they're out of practice. So we'll see if Choo Choo's is on the ball with that. We know he's good with his teleports. We've seen that last game. It's more the keg mechanic that we're looking towards.
Yeah, well, the opposite side of the matchup as well. Always interesting. As Choo Choo says, well, I beat you on the champion, now I'm going to beat you with the champion. As Blind Turkey's taken over half of his health, as Regret is just smacking him with that hook over and over again. And flays him out.
This is great. Legacy.
Oh, so annoying.
Blind Turkey still needs to recall. They know there's going to be no camp started here from Avant. If they choose to, he's just going to chug potions now.
Oh, man.
May even be starting that heal. I would have to wager to stay in this lane. Whereas Legacy, they can freely go to those Krugs, at least get the mini Stone Brother, the younger one.
Yep.
Take him down for some free gold. They could likely do both, though. And Thresh Callista in this lane. It's something that Ejim actually mentioned earlier at the start of Game 1, saying it's such an oppressive and strong skirmish comp in that mid-game stage. And that's where we saw Legacy take charge.
Yeah, we did, and it also is somewhere that they sort of need some control as well, because of course you want to scale with the Rise, you want to scale with the Gangplank. Gangplank, though, is just generally strong at a lot of that mid-game stage. Might be just at the moment where things might be a little bit of a worry, but you can see...
Ooh, as that auto attack went off,
working.
Wrecked would have been aptly named. The cool thing about the Gangplank mid is when you proc the passive, you get a big burst of move speed. It lets you get in range to use your Q. And of course, we mentioned Grasp of the Undying. They go the Bandit Mastery in the middle tree.
Yep.
So 10 gold every time you hit.
Oh,
good
hook
hook.
lands onto Destiny. The flay's going to be there for the double. As Destiny's burning to death. The flash forward. First blood going down for Regret. Welcome back to the OPL, sir.
And we said Blind Turkey was the Thresh play. Well, Regret's showing that he has what it takes as well. Coupling that damage together with King. And an easy kill here.
Oh, that was brutal in the bottom lane.
Regret comes up huge. Even at level 1, out-trading the Alistar. Everything about this lane right now.
Yeah, another hook lands underneath the turret. He
Oh,
flashes
no.
forward. Headbutt under Regret. Blind Turkey's going to answer it as King. Able to pick up the kill. Gets out from under the turret.
Chelby's here, though.
Yeah, he might be able to pick up this kill. Of course, King very, very low. Shelby makes his way in. He's going to have the Q. Turns back into regular form. Misses the cocoon, though. Is he going to make it underneath? No. Volatile Spiderling can't lock it down. And King's able to get out alive.
This Legacy bot lane show their mechanical prowess again. Ridiculous work here. Blind Turkey, exceptional play to keep the tower aggro on Regret. They take him down. King knows the heal's not going to be necessary. And the tower stops hitting him. After there, it was just dodge the cocoon and try your absolute hardest to stay alive, but he did.
I thought there was no way he was getting away from Shelby just there. I was still going to say probably worth here for Legacy, but oh man, Wrecked lands the chain here in the mid lane as Carbon looking to come behind him. Sits on top of the distortion as Blind Turkey makes his way in. He's going to defend his mid lane a bit. Wow, AV already starting off so far behind.
So that was still good here from the mid laner of Avant. He wasn't planning on staying in this lane, had expended a lot of his mana, but did blow the potion needlessly. And Shoes can come back into lane with his teleport and find a slight CS advantage from this.
Already
good
had it
start
as
here.
well. Yeah, exactly. So Gangplank doing well. Shelby going to be able to smite away his Raptor. Is definitely good news, but Choo Choo's makes his way over. There's the repel as Shelby has nowhere to go with it. Choo Choo's looking to try and get something back, but in the end, Carbon's just going to unburrow on some Spiderlings and it's going to be okay, but a lot of pressure.
They knew that Shelby didn't have the flash available and looked aggressively to try and take him down. The problem with that is Choose being a level 4, now level 5 Gangplank, doesn't necessarily have high kill pressure and pick potential.
Yeah.
If it were the Rise, for example, then sure.
Well, you can see the bottom lane, Destiny and Blind Turkey at the moment hugging their turret for dear life. Top lane, though, Carbon looking to try and influence this one. Doesn't have the flash on Burrow exactly right, so not going to be able to find too much, but Carbon just making his presence known all over the map.
Yeah, absolutely right. Doing well in this top lane tally. Shelby, repeat offense.
Yeah, trying to get down there as King. He might be able to take the lantern. Blind Turkey sitting on top of it, though, as Destiny dashing around is going to be able to pick up that kill. Almost gets killed by the minions, though. You're exactly right. Regret 9 now in trouble, but Shelby more just zoning so that he can't kill the AD carry. Regret still looking to go aggressive. Has an army of minions at his side.
Yeah. Shelby kind of went back in and got out-traded here by this Thresh. The Lantern was unable to be taken here by King. Blind Turkey does really well to stay on top of it, but look at the minion stack that we're hitting Destiny. If that Q connected, he was done.
Yeah, well, Regret actually able to pick up a kill onto Shelby. Answers it back, does the AV lineup, but I'm just not sure whether that's worth it.
That's not really worth it. Carbon's here. King's about to come back to the lane. If they find a kill onto Destiny at all,
Oh man, there's the headbutt back. They try and get this Rek'Sai out of this party. You can see he's already taken a lot of damage, but King able to get that Ren down early. Oh my goodness, cannon barrage at the same time.
Too many minions,
Blind
King.
Turkey, yeah, able to pick up the kill. King kiting back as best he can. See what he can do. That's the Ren for the slow. Pierce lands at the same time, and King, he got the reset off a minion.
Every single time that we watch this bottom lane right now, there's action
Everywhere.
literally every second of it. And it's always King and Flying Dew that are the ones impressing. Destiny, Blind Turkey, and Shelby are all on the back foot. Shelby trying to be proactive and essentially getting out-traded by a Thresh more than once. The hooks are connecting, and King is 3-1 on this Kalista at 7 minutes.
And when we saw this Legacy lineup for the first time, you looked at the fact that King moved over from the Direwolves. He was this aggressive, massive playmaker for the team. And then you see he's going to be now paired with then Flying Dew, now Regret. And this is what we were expecting.
And again, Shelby knows the lane to pressure. If it's worth anything, it's still a 2-kill Lucian for Destiny. This is an interesting dynamic. Who's actually going to be able to carry harder? We know that King can carry. We've seen him do it in the past. We're yet to see Destiny go really off on this AD role. He did well in his first series.
Oh, there's the culling. King going to dodge most of it there as the Dark Passage was available. Regret 9, full health. We'll see whether he can get anything going on as Blind Turkey wants to find that level 6 for the ultimate.
Oh my god, it
Carbon
doesn't end.
and Choo Choo's heading their way in here. Carbon able to take down the red buff, and Shelby, he may die. Able to dodge out of the way of the barrels, but he's getting slowed down to high heaven. Choo Choo's even locks it up with that Q. And man, Legacy's best friend club working out real good at the moment.
It's just control of the map. They know exactly where Shelby is. He's been revealing himself time and again in this bottom lane through warding. And all Carbon has to do is control the Elise now. And things start to go well.
That's exactly what they're doing at the same time. Blind Turkey, only level 5, gets hooked, takes a lot of damage from that W passive, as now King still going aggressive despite slightly losing that trade with Destiny.
Yeah, lost the trade, does have Vamp Scepter to stay in this lane, depending on what Avant do in the next 10 to 20 seconds. Takes a while for him to get that health back, and there's a chance that Avant can be aggressive.
Yeah, Regret probably wants to be landing the hooks on the Lucian here. That's how it worked out so well early on. But Destiny, you can see, moving very far forward. There's the Flash Pulverizes. King gets delivered to Blind Turkey. Destiny dashes out of the way of the cannon barrage as he walks back in. It is going to be Regret now getting turned on, but he locks down the kill on the AD carry. That's a big deal. Now he's just gone on a merry ride towards this turret, and Rex says, I'll take the last hit as the turret helps him out. So EV, nice maneuvers. The Legacy getting one back.
But you know what? Flying Dew again picks up a kill onto Destiny. He's not going to be there as a benefactor of this kill whatsoever. Only gets some money in his back pocket himself as Blind Turkey shows the aggressive engagement that's required of him. Destiny gets the kill, but then Regret. Every hook is connecting. The Ignite on this bottom laner, and this is a 4-man rotation that also gives Choose free farm in the mid lane on this gangplank, and it takes them an awful lot of effort to secure these picks.
I just want to say, like, Regret predicting the juke up instead of back towards the turret, which he'd probably naturally do. I don't know. It was
He's got his
pretty
team
impressive
there, so it was just really good intuition stuff here from Regret.
Yeah, nicely played.
Unfortunately, couldn't flay the initial flash engage out of Blind Turkey with that pulverized.
At the moment, I feel like we're getting greedy asking for that one, though, because he played it quite nicely. That being said, this bottom lane, you're exactly right. 3-3-1 now for Destiny as King on 3 kills himself. Wrecked, sorry. Looking for a trade under Choo Choo's, but doesn't do too much. He almost has his Trinity Force available. You can see just pushing with reckless abandon here in the mid lane. Choo Choo's losing a little bit more off the Mimic Distortion as he's actually gone back in. We'll see whether he actually landed the chain there as there's the playback onto Blind Turkey. Pulverized onto Regret 9, but he needs the CC on this Kalista as Destiny's trying to get the trade in. Nice use of the culling, gets a lot of bolts onto the Legacy bottom lane, but Carbon waiting patiently. In comes Shelby as well. Cannon Barrage is there. Carbon delivered under the turret. It's the ultimate for Blind Turkey, meaning Destiny can pick up the kill. Malaz able to get in there with the teleport as well, just for insurance. Tally didn't have his as he used it to get back top, and AV, they're turning this one around.
All of the attention's on this bottom lane. Choose is trading aggressively, but he's going to be fine. And again, King is struggling, Regret is struggling, but Carbon is the one to go down this time. As, honestly, Avant have recognized the lane to focus.
Yeah.
They're here right on time. Malaz comes in, and they actually double ward the Lantern to stop him from taking that at all. The Gangplank ultimate trying to disengage, and they do get out, but once again, Avant, they're keeping themselves well and truly in this, and that is a 4-kill Lucian at 11 minutes next to a 3-kill Kalista and 3-kill. That's just kills everywhere. This is so bloodthirsty.
3-kill Thresh. He's had a lot of kill participation in both Avants and Legacies, which is pretty cool. As he's now going to move towards the mid lane here. Choo Choo's looking to clean this one up. It's a lot of farm for a Gangplank right now, as he's about 14 ahead. By about, I mean exactly, because we have the exact number right there.
Roughly the exact amount.
Roughly, exactly. Well, King makes it back to this bottom lane. Probably wants it to be an actual 2v2 for a little while, because they were winning in that
Doesn't look
scenario.
like he does, though, because Carbon was already here.
Yeah.
My house.
Yeah, Blind Turkey says, don't go home, go home.
Don't
Or
go
something.
home here.
Yeah, don't go home here, go home in the river, where you belong. I don't even know what that means.
River Rek'Sai.
I guess Rek'Sai is kind of a land shark, so there's something to be said for that. Yeah, Shelby making his way towards the top lane, though, as he's trying to find a cocoon. Malaz pops the ultimate, but Tally safely underneath his turret. He'll be absolutely fine, just has to pop the ultimate. On a relatively low cooldown, and Choo Choo's just locking himself down some more farm.
Yeah, it's the best thing about the Rise ultimate is once you proc your passive, reduces the cooldown by a substantial amount with every spell you use. Choose has his Trinity Force. This is a big deal.
Oh, yeah.
Makes trading in this lane quite dangerous.
Oh,
Look at that.
my
Look
goodness.
at that.
The burst damage was ridiculous, and look at the passive burn as well. Rekt is not going to be doing that again in a hurry.
So the thing with this matchup is if you get the auto attack off on Rekt, he gets absolutely smashed.
Yeah.
Because the passive chunks him out. He's a relatively low health carrier LeBlanc, especially with the item build that he's opted towards. No resistances of any kind. Not necessarily efficient to go first item Seeker's Arm Guard into a GP. And LeBlanc's also quite predictable with when she's going to use the distortion at you. It's a straight line. You can very easily turn around auto, try and work the trade out, and save your oranges for if the tether follows.
Save the oranges, Rusty.
Not like this.
It's a good point, but man, I'm just so impressed by how
Blind
Choo Choo's has played this
should be
Gangplank so
tanking.
far. Essence Reaver now completed, though, in the bottom lane here for Destiny, as King has got the Blade of the Ruined King, also with those Berserker's Greaves as well. Making sure that he can dance around as quickly as he can. Blue buff up here for AV, lots of wards around it in favor of Legacy as King. More pressure.
Shelby again, yeah.
Where's he watching? He's watching the bottom lane, I believe.
Absolutely.
Was there looking to pick up the blue buff first. Choo Choo's will have some time with this turret as Rekt is able to pick up that blue. Now the Spider Lady looking to move towards that bottom side.
Yeah, and the Runic echoes a lot of damage out of this Elise. Hello.
Yeah, Tally blows the ultimate, wants to be able to shove this wave forward.
3 members.
Yeah.
Malaz knows that there's 3 members.
He does have his ultimate. He's going to pop it right now, gets knocked up underneath this turret. They're looking for all the burst damages. The barrels need to be avoided right now. Otherwise, Malaz will fall down. He gets underneath, and there's the flashover as well. AV utilizing this nicely, and he'll get out.
He gets out, but they do take the turret. The Dragon trade is not worth it, but if they get the middle lane turret in response, absolutely worth it here for Avant. Rek'Sai wants to defend, so does Legacy's bot lane.
Oh, Death Sentence is going to land. There's the ultimate. Oh my goodness, the flash again. King caught out of position. Rekt is going to smash him in the face. As Regret now walking once again the wrong direction. He's been doing this a fair bit. As there's the Runic Echoes. Lots of damage here from Shelby as he's running out of mana, but Rekt isn't. And he'll be able to probably pick up this kill. Nice use of the cocoon. As Rekt gets it delivered on a silver platter. So AV take the kill lead, but not the gold lead just yet.
Yeah, and they don't get that turret they were looking towards. As honestly, the dying wish of King there should have been to use his Fate's Call onto Regret. Let him push out in a direction and try and have a better chance of running towards his own base.
That's a good
Didn't
point.
press that ultimate. And the Thresh took them on a wild goose chase through their own jungle, so inevitably going to go down. And I don't know, Legacy, they're being proactive. They're making the right decisions. they're just not executing on it in the most effective manner.
I just love how bloodthirsty everything is in the bottom lane.
Yeah.
Makes for
Well, kills are at the
excellent
clock
League of
at the
Legends
moment.
to watch. Yeah, exactly right. King is going to be able to take away these Krugs and then pick up this fresh minion wave. See if he chucks a pierce through it. Oh man, that looks so satisfying.
Almost
and locks
perfect.
all of them. It wasn't? It wasn't all of them?
No, he missed one of them with the Q. That was all.
Oh, okay. He
Almost perfect.
managed to get every one of the
Yeah,
the
he did,
CS though. That felt good. Felt really good. We've been seeing a lot of missed cannons, ladies and gentlemen, if you're wondering why I was getting so excited. So locking down every single one of them while we were watching, definitely a good thing, as Legacy's bottom lane looking to push forward, but it might be a dangerous move as there are 4 members of Avant making a swift movement down here.
Wow!
Oh no! Takes the lantern into a cocoon. King once again destroyed. Cannon Barrage not going to do anything as Malaz underneath the turret now. Culling comes down, but not going to do too much as Tally soaks it with his passive shield. And AV, they are picking on this AD carry.
You've got to be kidding me. That cocoon was unreal.
Yeah.
No way that he was intending that target. Avant diving.
Yeah, Blind Turkey gets hooked. He's got the ultimate running though. Happy to dive as much as he likes. Tally flashes forward. They're looking for it. Shutdown comes in as Choo Choo's makes his presence known. And Tally, he's going to grab one off the backside. Nice cleaver. Going to stop Tally's approach underneath this turret. And AV, tails between their legs.
And I feel like every time we look at the scoreboard, Legacy just come up trumps with their farm. They get the rotations at the right times, and they're utilizing their teleports much more effectively. Focusing a tank Rek'Sai is not conducive to success. Tally takes them down, coupled with Choo Choo's Q damage. Doesn't even need a keg in that fight. Don't tower dive a Rise if you're going to focus a Rek'Sai. That's never going to work.
Yep. Never do that, as well as the Hex Trinket now being built up. Oh, King trying to go aggressive onto Destiny, but he may not actually find it. No rend available as he'd managed to close the distance, and Shelby locks down the kill.
I just have no idea what King's doing anymore.
I think he's just angry.
You need to leave, Carbon.
Oh, looking for the kill into Destiny right now. Flashes forward, he'll be able to grab it. May die, and by may I mean he's dead. As it is going to be Rek that picks up the kill. So trading 1 for 1, gets the revenge that King was looking for. Hopefully now King will be maybe a little bit less ham.
I'm just watching like a coordinated solo queue game.
It is a little bit like that. Another headbutt pulverized, but man, it's a high-end solo queue game as there's a lot of sweet mechanics on display. Chains landing one more time as Choo Choo's can take the lantern, but says, no, I'm not taking your lantern. I don't need that.
We certainly didn't when he was rooted to the ground by the chains.
True. And there's also the fact that they had all backed off. So
Yeah.
it's absolutely fine.
Of course, massive CS lead for this middle lane. Something we touched on very briefly while they were, for some reason, diving.
Yep.
The Legacy lineup here, Avant. And 4-1 is great for Rekt. He's still going to be doing damage, but to be that far behind in farm, and Choo Choo's still having participation in these kills, it's a dangerous gangplank, and you never let a gangplank get this far ahead, because all it takes is that one keg from now on.
And he's now building towards the Infinity Edge. So just wants the Hex Drinker, doesn't want more of Malmortius finished. He wants that crit damage, wants those barrels to be hitting for as much as possible.
Even going for the Mercury Treads build this time instead of the Boots of Lucidity. Wants the actual max amount of CDR that you can get, not more.
Thank goodness. It's one of those things that slightly bothers me, as they are going to steal away this blue buff. Now move towards the inner turret. It is going to be Destiny Split pushing on the top side.
GP could have altered that top wave, I think, to deny the turret from going down, but they want to use that in this push themselves. Realistically, could have used it, though.
Yeah. Now going to be able to take down the inner turret for free. And AB say, well, if we can get anything as a trade, it will be worth it, as the mid lane turret is being looked at by Rekt. Destiny still pushing forward, has a huge creep wave as well as AV.
GP has to ult it now.
Clearing this one out.
There we go.
Pings, Cannon Barrage does go down, so Destiny able to get out, but the minions not as lucky.
And they don't get the second turret. They don't get the middle turret either, as Rekt was pushing that one menacingly. He's poking his way around the outskirts of all of these team fights and pushes. Of course, Legacy made a very big advance on that bottom turret, and that's good luck, Shelby.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, he's got the attack speed from his W, able to lock down both of the wards. Oh, can he get all three? Oh, but nails it.
Yep.
Pretty smooth.
One sweep at 3 wards.
Yeah.
Making bank. Ward-killing
title.
mechanics.
Exactly. It's exciting stuff. There's AV looking to grab their second dragon of the game here at 22 minutes into the game. Rapid fire cannon completed from Destiny, actually going for the Berserker's Greaves as well on his Lucian. Attempted steal there, but King once again getting aggressed on Rek, trying to get the juke, but it's not enough as Tally's going to get knocked up. Massive damage here from Destiny as he's just chaining them together. Double kill so easy, and Carbon has to get out. Wrecked as well, very low here on the back
They can
end.
still fight this if the kegs connect here. Legacy is still dangerous, even with 2 of their carries dead.
Oh yeah.
Because they still have the tanks in a gangplank. And again, Avant, they do make some good picks. They're now 4 kills ahead, yet they're still 3k gold behind because they're not getting the objectives. Destiny's trying his hardest, and at least 1 more turret will fall to close this gap.
I just want to see how much farm Choo Choo's has how much gold Choo Choo's has right now. 11,000 to the 8.5 from Wrecked. That is huge. Yeah. And he's down in kills. Like, that scoreline, apart from the CS, looks like, oh, this LeBlanc relatively fed, right? No.
220 CS if you last hit them with a Q. 8 extra gold if you hit Wrecked with a Q. 10 extra gold from Bandit. Making money everywhere that he possibly can is Bankplank.
Basically thematically correct, guys. He's stealing money from you while he shoots you in the face. As Tally looking for it. Oh, the flash from Shelby was a bit fancy, but I don't think it'll find too much. Oh, not going to get the keg. As Choo Choo's trying to find his way in. Very fast as Shelby, but not fast enough as Tally's able to flash on top of him with that Rune Prison. Lock down the kill.
And just like that, remember, Shelby is building AP Elise. All of the magic damage. Rylai's with the Runic Echoes. It's not tanky, though it's deceptively tanky, as you kind of look it.
Yeah, but
You have lots of bars there in the health area, but it doesn't actually mean that you don't take damage.
Big barcode doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be alive for a long time.
Yeah, that wasn't even really a juke here from Shelby. I think he
He was
was
still in full vision, right?
he was feigning towards the tri-bush, but they had a ward there to spot him. So he could have flashed either direction, but actually just get spotted by the ward. Clever, cheeky,
Yeah.
not effective.
Well, Death Sentence going to be followed by Carbon, but not actually going to find Wrecked, who distorts away. And 4,000 gold is the lead here for Avant, but Legacy are playing as if they're 20k ahead right now.
Yeah, definitely. Avant, again, rotation speed, translations around the map. They just feel like they're generally on the back foot. But finally, Avant are now grouping. They know that Mundo has the teleport. Legacy are already prepared, though, as they are pretty much every time.
I just want to see when someone gets caught by one of these barrels, because they're doing so much damage to minions. Shelby's found Carbon, who's just going to take a Lantern Ride to safety. Malaz split pushing on the bottom side. AV need to be careful. There's a lot of engage tools from Legacy, although no flash Rune Prison from Tally. Oh, Death Sentence lands onto Shelby. This is what we're talking about. He uses the repel, but he has nowhere to go. Wreck now has to get in there. They kill King. Shelby's still alive somehow. Carbon's going to fall as there's a barrel. Turkey just soaks it with his ultimate, though, and it does nothing. Destiny able to get around here as well as the Q lands on top of him. Looks like he's just ignoring this gangplank damage as AV, they're getting the kills. Most definitely.
Yeah, they're 100% getting these picks. Every time Blind Turkey has his flash available, he's pulverizing King and knocking him into the team. LeBlanc's burst is enough to instantly take this Kalista down. And King is not respecting their engagement. He has 7 deaths.
Yeah, he's basically feeding right now.
Avant is starting up this Baron. Choo Choo's has his ultimate, and Shelby's low.
Half cooldown on that cannon barrage.
Oh no, it is.
Yeah, but there are barrels aplenty to be had. There's the headbutt pulverized as in comes Carbon as well. Blind Turkey is going to fall, but AV now with a man disadvantage. Carbon over the backside just trying to eat the AV members. Shelby still skittering away as Destiny. He's going to die. Tally grabs the shutdown. Wrecked.
Now LeBlanc
Still running away, but I have a feeling they're going to get closed in on and destroyed. Carbon knocks them all up, and that's going to be all she wrote. Legacy, they stop what was a very optimistic Baron and continue the control.
They get the ace. They can do the Baron themselves here, Legacy. That was a weirdly desperate decision here from Avantgarde.
Yeah.
No reason to go for that Baron. And I said it one time, you may have a positional advantage, you may have a single carry dead from the Legacy roster, but it doesn't actually amount to anything as
Carbon ults for the flank, comes back around to prevent them from running away, and in the front line is a Rise and a Gangplank who just do an abundance of damage. They have to run back away from Legacy every single time they're there. So great ultimate usage from Carbon. The Kalista double knock-up combo here as well with Carbon's knock-up himself.
Yeah.
And Legacy, hello!
Oh, there's the culling. That is definitely a dead Gangplank in the mid lane. Not sure how that happened. As well, I do, because he was shot a lot with a gun from Destiny.
His health bar went to 0.
Yeah, it went to 0, and then he went to the Death Chamber, but not quite sure the lead-up to that particular moment, but probably Choo Choo's just wanted to farm some minions. You can see 274 to 186, almost 100 CS in the lead.
This is
going great.
Honestly an amazingly entertaining game, but it
It
just
is.
feels like
It's
on the
very strange.
decision-making level, Legacy still feels superior.
Yeah. Legacy, yes. King, maybe not so much. I don't know. The guy's been making some odd moves, but he's still a force to be reckoned
Again,
with.
I just think it's a lack of respect.
Yeah. Well, you can see Blind Turkey getting caught out just a little bit. Destiny not going to die. Oh, he is. The red buff takes him down as King just hopping around this fight. There's the Fate's Call. Wreck going to get knocked up, possibly destroyed. Distorts away. Mimics away as well as Malaz.
Teleport
body
mid.
blocking for him. Yep, in goes Choo Choo's. He's just teleporting his way through. He's been playing PvE League of Legends right now. Just hits his own barrel for the funsies.
Gets that move speed, props to passive. Choo Choo's now pushing that middle lane turret. No answer here from Avant-Garde. Base is now going to be in tatters. At least the middle lane.
Yeah, that mid lane inhibitor is falling. They may just push for the victory here as well as Regret. He's tanking up the turret. There are barrels there. Blind Turkey with a massive pulverize. And there's a decent distortion, but King's still alive. Now just hopping through, killing the tank. Rends him to death. Now Blind Turkey in trouble. It's the ace again. Now as Choo Choo's locks down the kill. Culling. Yeah, Destiny just being a typewriter over this team, but he's being ignored as the Nexus is exposed and Legacy find themselves with another 2-0 victory. They had a lot of fun this game. And man, this lineup is looking so powerful.
Absolutely right. Legacy. It honestly felt like this game came down to Flying Jew taking on Blind Turkey. But
Yeah.
the rest of Legacy turned up and said, hang on, we're not just the bottom lane. Whereas Avant, honestly, I just feel like they struggled time and again to really make these decision-making. Like, they just made so many mistakes.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Rusty. But that's it from us casting today, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to throw it back to our analysts on the desk.
Thank you so much, you two. That was an entertaining game, I think. I want to say interesting.
It was fun.
I have absolutely no idea what Legacy were doing, though.
Making a lot of very aggressive plays, and this is actually something we've seen a little bit from Legacy in their last few series as well, is that, you know, all the games so far have been 2-0. Legacy, of course, have won all their games so far, so they're looking good. But they win the first game, very calculated, very convincing, have a clear plan, do everything well, and then close it out. And then they get in the game 2. And they just kind of start doing funky stuff. Like, they pick a little weird, they play a little too aggressive, and that's the big one for me, is that Carbon and friends, and this time, especially the bottom lane, who we expected to be aggressive, but not this aggressive, perhaps, and there was just a few too many aggressive moves that didn't work out for them.
Yeah, and I asked you before the broadcast, like, can Regret rein King in? Like, is this a support that can do it? And you said, if anyone can do it, Regret can. It kind of looked like Regret did the opposite and just embraced King's playstyle this game.
He just couldn't. He needs more Chowster to King's double it. Like, it just has to be done. Like, they had Kalista Thresh, and like at one point Legacy were diving top turret, and King and Regret are just like in their jungle trying to 2v4 the bottom side of the map. Like, it just doesn't work like that.
Because what I want to point out is there was a point in time in this game, Legacy are up by 4,000 gold, and there's an 1,000 gold lead on Destiny. You give any other AD carry, like someone that's much more in control of their role. Destiny played beautifully, by the way, but he's still very new. Like, you give that advantage to Radius, someone like that, I think the game ends up a lot differently.
That is actually just a Caparos in the chat. Like, it's literally like they're 4K, 5K gold up, and 3 out of 5 of Legacy's players were actually negative in that game. Like, they just played so sloppy. Even though they won, like, their draft was just like, they got the solo queue dream team. If I'm playing against that in solo queue, like, I dodge. Like, that's just too much.
Yeah, and you know, in the end, it was actually Avant-Garde's decision-making that came back to bite them because they won a team fight. We have a replay for you. And Avant are actually starting the Baron because they've just had a good team fight that they think they can win this game. Take it away for us.
And then it all turns around.
Yeah, like, they go in for the engage. Like, I don't know, like, going for Baron, like, this far behind, it was just a desperation move. Carbon flanks with the Rek'Sai, gets a multiple man knock up here, and like they just get chased down. Rise gangplank scale to this point is just too much. Hook onto Destiny, he's just dead. Like they just can't win from this point.
And I think that was the story of the game, right? You know, even no matter how far King kind of fell behind, he could do whatever the heck he wanted because the rest of the Legacy lineup were willing to do this, run over the top of them. We said, like, there is a point in this game where Mundo's going to be that big and they're going to have the tools to be able to win this if they can get the pick on Gangplank, but Choose played it beautifully.
Yeah, Choose is just really good. I mean, Choose and Tally played an excellent series altogether. Granted, they got very good champions in both of their games, and Legacy sort of drafted in a way that got them very greedy solo laners, and they did well with them. King had an okay series. Again, we've talked about AD carries not needing to do as much work recently, but King is a excellent player. He can do so much more work on this. He had a fine Kog'Maw game, even though it was kind of a weird pick and a tough matchup, and his Callista's fantastic. So he needs to just, like, rein it in, and because he's so much better than this. Like, he showed off how good he is mechanically, but he can make games easier on his team, which he kind of didn't do in that one.
Making games easier on his team is actually a really good way to put it. Like, he tried to, like, outplay everything. Like, that's what their bot lane was doing. Callista Thresh, really strong lane, can make a lot of outplays, but, like, that's all he tried to do the entire game.
And you saw in the last team fight even, you know, Tim Carbon, he pretty much put the screws in because King even played that team fight a lot. He flashed away and then he was able to skirt the rest of the fight. He actually played the game out well. So Legacy, when they are on the same page, look like they can be that team. I just don't know whether they can do it convincingly. However, guys, that is all for us tonight. We'll take a look at the games ahead. Tomorrow night, it will be Hellions taking on Infernum there. And then our OPL Legend match will be the Direwolves versus Egypt's Chiefs, and we'll see whether they're able to retain the title for one more time. But Legacy do get the 2-0 tonight. Of course it's his team. He's on the desk. I can't say it's someone else's team.
My
that
team.
will be all for us tonight, guys. So on behalf of myself, Pastry Time, thank you so much for being here, Egypt, and our whole production crew. We'll see you tomorrow night at 6 p.m.